We became minimalists to help reduce the stress that we had maintaining our home and raising a growing family.
I wanted to make my life easier and make time for the things that actually mattered to me, like spending time with my kids and my husband versus just taking care of a house and all of our stuff.
With this new lifestyle, we started to see how we were saving a lot more money and not necessarily on purpose. These new habits were really simple and sometimes we didn't even notice them at all. They were really low effort, and along with the money that we were saving, we started to experience a better overall quality of life. When we first became minimalists, tackling our wardrobe and getting it to a decent number of items was a big goal for us. So we started by just going through all the stuff that we had and evaluating if we have been using these clothes at all in the last month or 2 months or 3 months. In the beginning, we were numbers driven, so we wanted to keep maybe only 5 or 6 things, 5 or 6 shirts, and then the same for maybe some pants. But we wanted to just make sure that we got the full use out of everything that we had in our closet. And our closet was just so out of control that we wanted to get it down to a number that made sense and did not provide too much excess. So now what we do is when we have clothes that we are tired of or just no longer need, we replace. So we have I have 6 shirts. And so if I need to get rid of these shirts or I don't want these shirts anymore, I replace them. I don't buy clothes and add it to the number that we have in the closet. Clothes purchases really start to add up, and especially since we have children. So they need new pajamas or they need new shorts or they need new dresses. And instead of just buying more and more stuff and it being in the closet and we don't even have any room and maybe they don't even use this stuff, we make sure that we keep only a few pajamas, a few shorts, a few dresses, just enough because they're constantly growing, so they need to be replaced pretty often. So once they outgrow them, we can easily donate them to a friend or a family member, and we can make sure that we keep all of our wardrobes very minimal, and it just saves us a lot more money than constantly going to the store and buying more clothes.
In this day and age, for every name brand product, you can find a product similar to it that's off-brand for much less of a price, and it's normally pretty decent in quality too, if not comparable to the name brand item.
Recently, I purchased some basketball shoes because the other ones that I had were completely worn, and I decided to go with a non-brand name basketball shoe versus a big brand that most of us know. And the ones that I got, they had great reviews and it was a lot cheaper. And no one even noticed, no one seemed to care. And I love the basketball shoe and they feel great. Like I have no complaints about them at all.
In middle school, remember the kids would wear the Fat Farm shoes with the backwards P? Oh God, that was so messed up.
That's why it's important to consider That's why it's important to consider how often you're going to use a product and if it's even worth the extra money to go with a brand name product or not.
As we decluttered our home, we had a ton of items that were actually pretty valuable. We ended up just giving freely to our friends and family members. If someone was in need and we had it, we gave it to them versus trying to sell it. Selling is a great option. You can sell on Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp. There are tons of different places you can. I think that's a good idea if you want to add to your savings, or if you have a goal to hit, if you want to be debt free, that's a really good thing to do. For us, we didn't have the space to, let's say, store it. Our goal every time we were getting rid of something was to have it out of the house within 48 hours, because sometimes you can declutter and then you'll put something in a closet waiting to sell it and then it doesn't sell and it just sits there forever. So if you can keep up with it, do it. But as far as we're concerned, it felt good to get rid of everything and give it away for free.
Yeah, nowadays Facebook Marketplace is it's just huge. Everyone is selling and buying stuff. Yep. And you'd be surprised how many people want to actually buy second-hand items.
Yeah, second-hand is actually, back in the day, it was like, oh, second-hand. And now second-hand is like where you go first.
Yeah. So if you're in your minimalism journey right now, selling things that you no longer need that are still pretty good and decent is a great way to save money.
As you guys know, we just had baby number 3, and with every baby, you know that you need certain baby items, and we were not super prepared because we were not expecting to have another baby so soon. So we didn't have all of the larger baby items, and it was really cool because we had friends who just donated things to us, like a baby swing, a baby walker, a baby bouncer, just tons of things that we would have had to purchase. And so they handed it down to us, and then now, once we're done with it, my sister's pregnant, so we're gonna hand it down to her. So that's a great place to start. We didn't realize when we first had, kids, our first baby, we didn't think to buy secondhand or to borrow from a friend.
Just ask,
Yeah.
You may have friends or family that have kids or a little bit older, and they're out of that baby stage, or they're out of the stage that your kids are in. And just asking, hey, do you have this item, or do you have something like this, or do you know someone who has this?
Yeah.
Just borrowing or using it for a little while is a great way. And for instance, for me, when it comes to like a project, we have a Christmas tree outside and I wanted to saw it in half, but instead of me going to the store and buying a saw but that I'll only use one time, or going to the store and buying another item for a project that I'm only going to use once, instead, I'll just ask, can I use X, Y, or Z? And doing that allows you to not store clutter, because if you only use it once, 1, it's just going to take up room in your house, and then 2, it could be just a waste of money in the end. So whenever you're looking at a product to purchase or buy for the home, it's good to consider the things that you already have at the house. So maybe you want to buy something new. So again, going back to the wardrobe, you want to buy a new sweater because it looks really nice or it's your style. Consider if you have a sweater already before you start buying more. And then if you don't want the sweater that you already have, you can replace, like we said earlier. But being mindful of the layout of your house and the storage capacity, you don't want to just buy a bunch of things that you're going to have to figure out how to store. For instance, workout equipment, it seems good to have a few different things, but if you don't know how you're going to store them before you purchase them, then it's just going to clutter up your house, and then it won't be a good environment for you to even work out, because you're just like, the clutter, the area is just like, doesn't make me want to do X, Y, or Z. So consider the things that you have before you buy, and that's what we've done.
I have a few examples of this. So you bought me flowers recently, and we don't have a vase, and that was not by choice. I actually had a vase that broke, but I didn't want to purchase another one. So anyways, when he brought home flowers, I was like, first of all, aw. Second of all, we don't have a vase. So I actually used like some glass Tupperware I had. So I think some people would go out and get a vase, or probably have a ton of vases, maybe. But you can shop your own house. So another example of this where you can shop your own house is maybe you can move something from one room to another. I had a friend who recently sent me a picture of her living room, and we got into conversation about it. And it turns out she had a barrel, and she uses that barrel as a end table. So she didn't have to get an end table. She uses the barrel. So it's like, and it looked good. It looked like it was meant to be in that space. So something like that, like shop your own home. I would have never thought to use a barrel as an end table, but hey, it works, and she already had it. So, little things like that where you can shop every room before you go do something else, or even do like a swap with a friend. So, yeah.
This isn't necessarily just TV subscriptions, but even subscriptions like maybe you have an annual pass to a park, but you only go maybe once or twice a year. Or maybe it's even that little trampoline park that has a monthly plan for your family to go play and jump on there, but you only go like once every birthday.
Yeah. Or, can I jump in and add some?
Yeah.
Okay. Or we've seen the car wash that we go to, there's like a monthly subscription thing that you can do where it's like unlimited car washes, but people tend to just go a couple times. So for me, the amount of times I go, it makes more sense for me to just pay each time. Or another example is gym membership. And bear with me because it's important to go to the gym. It's important to work out and take care of your body. But coming from a gym background, I was a general manager for many years. And so for many years, I would see this people who would sign up for an account because they wanted to better themselves, but then they would never come. And then a year, 2 years later, truly, because it was a very affordable gym, they would come and they would say, you've been charging me $20 a month for the past 2 years, sometimes more. And they would request a refund because they never came in, but it was part of their contract. Like, just because you didn't use it doesn't mean that you're entitled to a refund. So that was so much money wasted. So that's one example where use that membership or cancel it. Realistically, if you can't make it to the gym, then maybe you need a subscription at home. So I would say either use that gym membership or find another means to working out. Maybe you want to work out outside or work out at home, but whatever it may be, don't let those subscriptions just continue on charging you if you're not using it.
So anytime we're faced with a one-time purchase or a subscription, we generally try to opt for that one-time payment and ask ourselves, if we're going to actually do this more than once or very often, that's the only time we really consider a subscription.
Yeah.
Both of us are really trying to be more healthy and eat more nutritious and whole foods. And we've noticed that when we've stepped away from just getting packaged foods or eating out a lot and try to eat more whole foods that are whole meals, we've noticed that we've saved a lot more money. And so instead of just getting, a side that's packaged, we just get a bunch of sweet potatoes or just a bunch of veggies and cook them all at once. And not only does this save us a lot of time, but it saves us money.
Yeah.
It's healthier for us. And then we're also trying to show our kids to eat a little bit better because it's so easy for us to just go through a drive-through or us to just get them stuff that's pretty ready-made. And, with 3 kids, a lot of times we're tired at the end of the day, so we don't really want to cook. But when we do this whole batch cooking and cooking whole foods, it really just serves us so much better overall in the long run, and especially when it comes to saving money.
Yeah.
When we started to make our living areas much more spacious and we try to eliminate visual clutter, we started to notice that we're spending a lot less money on furniture. So end tables or coffee tables and things like that. And we started to keep the areas nice and open and spacious, and that has helped us save a lot of money and has deterred us from the temptation to fill the space with something that, we kind of see or we see online or Facebook serves as an ad about. And so prioritizing the space has helped us really with that overspending in the furniture area. And it's easy to do that, especially when it comes to home decor.
We firmly believe that minimalism is not about the numbers, but there are some areas in our home where we like to stick to a number because at one point it was very out of control. So, for example, we had over, I want to say 40 mugs at one time. And we're 2 people who drink coffee. And, we do have kids, but they don't use glass mugs. So it came to the point where realistically, we only need 2 mugs. But if we have coffee 2 times a day, then we only need 4 mugs, right? So that we don't have to wash right after we use it. So we went down to 4 mugs, and that's worked perfectly for us. So another area would be clothing. For example, jackets. Since we live in Florida, we don't need as many jackets as someone, let's say, who lives in a snowy state. So we decided that we only needed 1 to 2 jackets each. So that helps us because when we see that we have that already, we're not tempted to, even if we go to a store and there's an amazing deal or something, we don't need it. So we do keep some of the things to a certain number. So we are well into our minimalism journey, as well as being debt-free for over 6 years now. So budgeting is just our lifestyle. But even us who've been doing it for so long, we get hit with those cues or, that marketing or advertisement that just kind of pops up, and, smartphones nowadays. Also the accounts we follow. So I went through a stage with my Instagram where I was completely content in my home, but then I was following certain people and it was kind of triggering me a little bit to feel their house is cozier or prettier than ours. Maybe I do. So it started to make me desire some of these things, but I really didn't desire it. It was just constantly in my face. And I was following a lot of like home decor pages. So I unfollowed pretty much all of the home decor places. I don't follow certain businesses. I don't follow style accounts that are selling me clothing that I know I don't need. So I'm just very mindful of the social media that I consume, because sometimes those things can happen. You ever heard of people who say that they go to Target and they needed milk and they came out with $85 worth of things? Things like that is what I try to avoid.
Unsubscribing from emails and ad emails that you're constantly getting in your email. And also there's ways to unsubscribe from ads on Facebook and Instagram. You can do the same for your mail clutter as well.
Did you know that when you go to a store and they ask you for your email address, you can decline? I decline now. Did you know that?
Yeah. I've never given anyone my email.
I mean, the last time that happened, it was like Yankee Candle, and they were like, what's your email address? And they don't tell you why they want your email address, but they're literally subscribing you to their coupons and newsletters and things like that. So next time you can say no thank you and everything will be fine. You can still cash out without giving it to them. And it's not rude.
The start of a new year is a great opportunity to set your best foot forward and make positive changes in your life. As you're watching this here, how you can declutter multiple areas of your life, you'll have the motivation to make this year your best year ever. Stay minimal, our friends, and we will see you in the next video.